Armstrong. How you doing, Coach Armstrong?
Good, man. How are you? Ready for games? But it's been a good
I'm from Mobile. I grew up out here in
South Carolina,
in
Denver, and Colorado before that. But I'm from
in
Mobile.
our gyms and locker rooms and offices, getting ready for games. But it's been a good.
Welcome to Alley Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Ali Yayo. My special guest today is Coach Armstrong. How you doing, Coach Armstrong?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm all right, man. How life been treating you, Coach Armstrong?
It's busy at this time of year. January is always a tough time for basketball coaches. We spend most of our life in our gyms and locker rooms and offices getting ready for games. But it's been a good month so far.
Yes, sir.
We're trying to get better as a basketball team, but we're working.
Yes, sir. Tell the people where you from.
I'm from Mobile. I grew up out here in West Mobile. I played at Baker High School, played baseball and basketball here when I went here. Graduated here in 2003. Parents went to Theodore. I lived in South Carolina and Denver and Colorado before that, but I'm from Mobile.
Did you play basketball as a kid?
I didn't start playing basketball until I was 15. When I was growing up, there wasn't a lot of opportunities to play basketball as a youth out here in West Mobile. So I played a lot of baseball. By the time I got to be a sophomore in high school, and I was the tallest kid at Baker, I decided to, give basketball a try and kind of enjoyed it, and then came back to it as a coach years later.
Yes, sir. So let them know what high school you played for again.
I went to Baker. I played here.
Okay, then. So what did you average? What was your average high school?
I was not very good. I probably averaged about 4 points a game. I was more of a center guy that played right in the middle of the 2-3 zone. I couldn't really guard any of the small guys that played around here. I think there was only one other guy in Mobile at the time that was even close to my size. And so Coach Bumpers pretty much kept me in his zone if I was in. I couldn't really run around with guards. And like I said, I didn't start playing ball until I was 15. So I didn't know how to really do anything as a player. But I'm one of those people that firmly believes you ain't got to be a great player to be a coach.
I know, right?
It's part of it, but you don't have to be that guy.
Yeah. Did you attend any colleges?
Well, I got my degree from the University of South Alabama.
Then.
And I also went to used to be called Faulkner State. It's called Coastal South now, but I went to Faulkner State and got some of my undergrad stuff done there as well. But I have a degree in secondary education and social studies from University of South Alabama.
Yes, sir. How did you become a high school basketball coach?
That's a fun story for me. And so whenever I got out of high school, I thought I wanted to be a coach. I went to school originally to be, a math teacher and a baseball coach. So I thought I was going to do for my life. School didn't go well for me my first couple tries at it, so I had to kind of go back. And when I went back to school, I still had the idea that I was going to be a baseball coach. When I got the job at Baker High School in 2013, I went to the baseball coach and asked him if he needed help, and he had too many coaches already. And then football jumped in right away and said, hey, we need somebody to come help coach football.
Yes, sir.
And the basketball coach said, yeah, you can come help us as well. So I was just kind of an unpaid assistant for football and basketball for 2 years. Just trying to learn the games. And then my third year here, I became the head freshman football coach, head JV basketball coach, and I ended up getting to be a JV assistant coach as well for baseball. And so I did that for 2 years, and then luckily the head coaching job came open in 2017, and they decided to give me a chance at it, and I've been doing that ever since.
Okay, then. So basically, you was chose to coach here, or you could have went anywhere else and coached, or you basically was just
I've never really
opportunity. Huh?
I've never really tried to coach anywhere else.
Okay.
I'm a Baker boy through and through. I grew up out here.
Yeah,
I played here. My wife teaches here. My brother played baseball here. I've been around Baker High School since 1997. I came here as a 7th grader in 1997. So I've kind of been in this zip code in this area my entire life. I really love being the coach at the school I played at and went to. I've never worn any other colors than blue and white. Just, you go look in my closet, my drawers, it's all blue and white. Baker High School. That's all I do. So that's where I want to be and where I enjoy doing.
Yes, sir. What's the most difficult part when it comes to coaching?
I think it's everything that happens before a game. I think people don't realize that being a high school coach is so much more than just X's and O's. Like the amount of time I get to spend watching film and making plans for plays and what we do in a game is very little compared to the amount of time I have to schedule buses or drive a bus or find a way to get cloth or raise money or start a youth program or do all these different things, worry about kids' grades and behavior in school. All of that stuff takes up so much time. And, I think the hard part about being a basketball coach is that whenever you leave the job, when I go home, my mind is on my players and my job and what I do every day. I think high school coaches are the only people on the planet that go to school and lose sleep over other people's kids. I've done it more times than I can count.
I be just seeing. I know it got to be a lot.
Yeah.
So how important it is for students to have good grades and a good attitude?
It's imperative for you to have good grades. If you want to be a basketball player past high school, grades are important. If you don't have the right grades, you can't go to college. It doesn't matter. There's a set number for Division I. You got to have a 2.3 GPA and 16 certain courses that are all your core courses, like your maths, your English, social studies, science, and there's a couple other courses in there that throw in there. But if you don't have a 2.3 GPA or higher in those classes, you're not even recruitable for a Division I program. And then, for good attitude, like you have to have a coach want to come sit and watch you play, and they want to see how you're going to interact with your coach. They want to see how you're going to interact with your teammates. They want to see how you interact with the fans. They don't want people that are going to have poor body language. Like if you're in foul trouble and you go to the bench and you sit like this because you're mad, they're watching that. There's a story about Roy Williams, who used to be the head coach at North Carolina forever, that he would always go to watch kids he was recruiting before the game, and he would watch them warm up. And if he saw that they had poor body language in a warm-up, or he saw that they were not being a good teammate in a warm-up, he'd turn around and walk out of the gym. And he knew if he was in the room to recruit you, you were good enough to play for him. But it was all the other things that mattered so much more to him and whether or not you were going to be able to play at the next level. So kids that, we see it all the time, kids that are really good athletes, but when things don't go their way, they drop their head or they start to act an ass, and that will turn you off to a college coach quicker than anything.
Yeah, it hurts. What's the difference between teaching during school hours and coaching during after hours? Like, what's the difference?
I don't think there's a ton of difference in the two things. The whole idea is that you're trying to get kids to learn how to do something they didn't know how to do when they walked in the door. So like there's a correlation between being a teacher and a coach. John Wooden, who might be one of the best basketball coaches to ever grace this earth, used to call himself a teacher and not a coach. And, I get to see, my wife, she teaches here, she teaches calculus. She's never coached a sport, but when you watch her in her classroom and the way the kids interact with her, she is so amazing at making kids just want to do hard high-level math stuff. And I've said a million times, if I could be as good a coach as she is a teacher, I'd probably already won a state title. But she's, teachers that can get kids to do things they don't want to do on a daily basis, which is math, English, all that stuff, are phenomenal people. And basketball is doing the same thing. Nobody wants to go out there and learn how to block out or learn how to play defense the right way. They all want to go score. But the most important parts of the game aren't all just putting the ball in the basket. So it has a lot of the same correlations. We use a lot of the same psychological tools to do it. It's just, I think they go together hand in hand.
Yes, sir. How do a high school basketball coach come up with their plays? You coming up with your own plays? Or you studying? Or that's something I always want to know. Or that's something personal that don't supposed to be?
It's high school coaching or basketball coaching, period, is theft. So we steal stuff from other people. So every time I watch basketball, I watch, a college game or a pro game, I see them run a specific action, and I think to myself, can that be used with the guys I have? And every year is different. So, we run similar stuff year to year, but the way you want to do certain things is going to change based on the athletes you have and then how they're going to guard your athletes. If you've got a guy that's, really good at handling the ball, really good at getting to the rack and doing things, then that's a weapon that you can use in a certain way. If you don't have that, but you got a guy that can shoot really well, well, then you've got to use him in a different way. So you have to tailor what you do to your personnel. And honestly, that changes within a season, that changes within every year. It's something that's hard to come up with. but like I watch high school basketball games every day. I watch other teams play. I watch our games against other people. I scout film. I'll steal plays from them, just to, that'll work for us. I can use that. And you try to put it in place. There's nothing that nobody's tried before. You're just trying to make it work for you.
Okay.
And
I thought it was a book or something. I didn't know. I was like, well, how do they come up with plays? Like,
I read books about it. I go to clinics and talk to coaches. I watch film. You watch college games. You watch NBA games. You just see things they do, and you say, okay, can our kids do what those kids are doing?
Okay.
And you try to use it to the best of your ability. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Okay, then. How you prepare yourself for a big game?
For me, it's like trying to understand what the other team is going to try to do to beat you. So, like, what are they going to do to defend you? What are they going to do to try to score on you? What is their favorite way to get the ball in the basket? Trying to find that out, trying to figure out what personnel looks like, who's their leading scorer, who's their ball handler, who's the guy that shoots well, who's the guy that tries to go to the glass. You sit there and you watch film, a couple of games. Sometimes I've watched 10 games on teams. Sometimes I watch 2, just depending on who they are. And you try to pick apart what they're going to do, and then you try to teach your kids how to guard them, how to score on them, and then you have to prepare them mentally to handle the outside influence, the crowd, the nerves, all the different things. And then personally, I just want to be prepared. I want to know what another team is going to do. I don't want to be blindsided when I walk into a game.
Gotcha. What's your expectations you want from your players on and off the court?
I tell our guys all the time, I want them to be good men. I want, when they get older, I want them to be good husbands, fathers, sons, members of society. I want them to be the best employee or the best boss that anybody ever has. I want to see them succeed past high school. It's one thing to win games on a basketball court. It's one thing to come in here and win in high school. But my favorite thing to see is young men come back to me after I've coached them and to see where they are in life. I've got kids that are welders that weld all over the country and make big money doing that. I've got kids who own their own businesses. I've got guys who've played college basketball. I've got guys who've played college football. I've got guys who are engineers, doctors. I've got all these guys. Those things make me happy. When they show up and say, hey, coach, I'm working in this job. I just got my first big boy job. I'm making this amount of money. I'm proud of them. That's something that's great. Not every kid is going to go play high-level basketball, but every kid has to get a job. So what they're doing in that makes me happier than anything to see. And I love I got 3 of my former players are getting married this summer sometime. I've got their wedding invitations or dates on my thing. I've got some of them that have little kids and come and bring them back and let me see them. And that to me that's the best part of doing this job.
That's right. So I was just about to ask you how many players you had go to college.
I don't know the count. Let me tell you that.
It was a lot.
I know there's a few. Vincent Douglas, who was here, played for us my first season as head coach. He ended up playing at Coastal South, and he played at Blue Mountain in Mississippi all the way through. You got LeBaron Filon, who's playing at Alabama and doing fantastic and probably going to get drafted in the top 10 to 15 next year. You got, your stepson, Bam, who's playing prep school ball in New York right now, who's possibly going to end up playing Division I by this time next year. You got Desmond Williams, who's a redshirt at University of South Alabama. Deshaun Thomas, who we call Dash, is playing at Southern Union. He had a 20-something point game the other day. Anderson Maduin is playing at Huntington College, which is Division III in Montgomery. He's starting for them at the 5. Had several double-doubles this year. He's doing well. Lavelle Nelson, I think, it just enrolled at Wallace State this January, so he's getting a chance to play. You got Paris Baker's playing at a community college called Tennessee Valley. He's playing right now. So we've had a good run of some guys playing some college ball, and then I've got other guys that have played Division I football. I got one that played at Southeastern Louisiana. Got one that played at Arkansas State. I got some that played. It's all over the place. But we've got a lot of guys that have played sports past their senior year of high school.
That's good, Coach. That's a blessing. What type of coach is Coach Armstrong? Are you hard on your players, or are you more soft on your players?
I think it's a combination of the two. Like I want to be hard on them, and I want them to understand that life is not easy, that you have to, handle adversity well, and you have to handle somebody that's going to yell at you and get on to you. But I want them to know that I love them like they're my child. My wife and I don't have kids, so my kids are the kids I get the opportunity to coach every day.
Yes, sir.
So I spend a lot of time trying to make sure that they understand what my view on life is, so that they see some other picture of how life can be done than what they have at home, whether it's good or bad. I want them to see what my picture of life is, and I want them to, first understand I love them, and that every time I yell at them or get on to them, it's not out of a place of I don't like you. It's out of a place of I love you and I want you to be better. That's all I'm wanting you to do.
Yes, sir.
And I will never stop trying to make you better. I don't give a darn if you're gone from me for 5 years and you make a mistake. I'm going to tell you made a mistake, but I'm going to love on you and try to help you get through it.
That's right. That's right. How important it is to have a assistant coach?
It's incredibly important. I've had some really good ones over the years, but they are guys that can take some of the load off when it comes to thinking about what to do in a game or at practice. There's somebody that you can send to talk to a kid who's having a bad day because they're mad at you because you yelled at them. There's something that they can take some of that edge off. These guys that I've had over the years to do that for me are really good guys that are great basketball coaches. And this job is something you can't do by yourself. It is hard. It is a tough job. It's an everyday thing, and it's always mentally taxing. If you don't have somebody there to help you through it, it makes this life hard.
You're right. All right. So assistant coaches is very important.
Yes, they are.
Coach, a packed game, right? How hard it is to ignore the nonsense. Because I know you hear it, but you can't hear it, but you don't hear it. But how important it is to keep coaching, but you hear all this nonsense. Do it get to you? Or tell me about that experience.
I think there are some times you hear things in the stands and it gets on your nerves, but for the most part, it's all a dull roar behind you. My mind is so focused on the task at hand that what's going on around me doesn't matter to me. All I'm really worried about is the guys that sit on the bench next to us, the guys that are on the floor, and what's happening there. I've had games that outside influences bother you. We had a game one time where we're playing at Blunt and they packed that place to the rafters, and there was there was standing room only in that place, and there was barely even that. And it was a tight ball game. Our best player fouled out, their best player fouled out. It's going into overtime. There's 3,000 people in a gym that probably only fits 1,500. And I was worried about how my guys were going to get off the floor, and that did affect me. I had a night where we played in a area championship game, and the day that happened, one of my former players was shot and killed, so my mind wasn't completely on what was happening on the floor that night. There's nights that happens, but for the most part, everyday ordinary games, my mind is on what's going on.
Yes, sir.
It's not about the rest of it.
Okay, then. It feel like, how does it feel for another kid to when you see them grow up and they, like you said, we already talked about it, and they come back around to you again, that make you feel some type of way?
I love the guys I coach now, but it's more fun, something about just seeing guys come back to you and tell you what's going on in their life, whether it's in a game or outside of a game, whatever they're doing, if it has to do with basketball or it has to do with their life. It's hard to explain. It's kind of like being a parent. Like I said, I don't have kids, so my kids are the ones I coach every day. And so the ones that are here right now, I see every day. But bam, I don't get to talk to them every day like I used to. So I watch his videos on Facebook or Instagram, and I'm proud of him and seeing what he's doing. But there's something about him coming up and giving me a hug when I see him at school and getting a chance to talk to him that it makes me proud and happy all at the same time. I love having those guys come back to me, because it's a chance to get to see one of my children that has been gone for a couple months or a year or two or something like that. That's just something fun to have.
Yes, sir. How I feel like when you have a kid and you coach him for 2 or 3 years, then he leave you and go to another school?
I mean,
Like, I know, I just wanted to add like any coach that, because I see it go on all across the world.
I mean, it hasn't happened to me a terrible amount of time. Like, we can go to the LeBaron story. When LeBaron left, I understood why he left. I was happy. I understood what he needed in basketball terms,
yes,
right? Like, I knew he needed that level of competition to play outside of Mobile, go play against 5 stars every night to get himself ready to play at the level he's playing at today.
Yes,
I understood that. I got that. Did it hurt? Yeah, because I love the kid and I wanted him to be around.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
I wanted him to be with us. And yeah, it hurt us basketball wise because he was a very, very good player.
Yeah.
But that wasn't my, my coach brain knew what it meant to him.
Yes,
Like, I've had kids go to other high schools and do things. And most of that is because whatever I was doing wasn't connecting with them.
Yes, sir.
And I tried really hard.
Yes, sir.
If they left and go somewhere else, I just pray that the other coach can connect with them in a way
Yes, sir.
to make them a better man. That's all I care about.
Yes,
I don't, being a high school basketball coach can't be about wins and losses. Yeah,
Yes,
I want to win. I want to win every game I ever coach in.
Yes, sir.
But it's not about that. It's about turning young men into great men and fathers and husbands. That's what we need to have in this society today. And
Yes,
so
sir.
if some other coach can do that better than I can, I'm hoping and praying that happens for them.
Yes, sir. What's something you do as a head coach to make sure your players keep their good grades?
Check them, try to keep an eye on it, check on them, talk to their teachers. We try to, I hate to say the word punish, but you try to find ways to make them understand how important it is.
Mm-hmm.
You never want a kid to get an opportunity to play at a different level but not be able to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's something that you never want to have happen. And so you just kind of impart on them, hey, look, every time you make a bad grade, you're hurting yourself if you get the opportunity to play at the next level.
Mm-hmm.
And all of us need a high school diploma. All of us need grades.
Mm-hmm.
You can't survive. It's hard to survive. I won't say you can't, but it's hard to survive in this world without high school diploma and good grades. You
Yes,
need
sir.
those to be a good person or a good hireable adult.
Yes, sir.
So please do it.
Yes, sir. Do you have any coaches that like you look up to, or you have that one favorite coach you like? Like everybody like the Michael Jordan, the Phil Jackson. You have that one coach you like?
So I have several coaches. My dad is one of them. My dad, obviously coached me when I was a kid in baseball.
Okay.
And so I look up to what my dad did for us. He didn't always coach me in baseball, but when he did, he tried his hardest. He didn't know a lot about it, but he worked hard to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of do the same thing with my life. I didn't know a ton about basketball before I started coaching it. And
Yes, sir.
I like to think I know a good bit more about it now.
Yes, sir.
I had, Coach, when my senior year of baseball here, Coach Glover he was our head coach. Our coach is here now. He's teaching and coaching in Mississippi.
Yes,
and he
sir.
had an assistant coach named Coach Connick,
Mm-hmm.
who's also an assistant principal here today.
Yes, sir.
And those two guys made me want to be a coach. They made me want to be an influence on people's lives through coaching. Coach Connick got me my first coaching job in baseball when I coached middle school baseball at 20 years old.
Got it.
And I look up to those guys as coaches. And then the guys I coached with here when I first started, Coach Blackerby, who was the head coach, Coach Hickox, who was the JV coach at the time, Coach G, who's the head coach at St. Paul's now.
Mm-hmm.
He and I are really close friends. We talk 2 or 3 times a week. And I think the most important thing to me is my coaching friends outside of school, like Coach Epps and Coach G.
Yeah.
Coach Epps was my assistant here, and then now he's the head coach at Murphy, doing a fantastic job there. But we talk all the time
Yes, sir.
about our teams, about our players, about our games, and
Yes,
we
sir.
bounce ideas off of each other, and we help each other stay grounded in understanding that we're not the only people having the same problems we have.
Yes, sir. That's good.
Mhm.
What's your favorite food you like to eat, Coach?
Favorite food, man.
Yeah.
I like steak. It's probably my biggest thing. But I'm not a small man, so pretty much anything that you put in front of me, I'll eat. I've never really turned down anything. But I love to cook, so a lot of the stuff that I cook is, stuff I like to eat.
Mm-hmm. What's something you learned from your parents that will always be with you?
My parents were high school seniors when I was born. And so they didn't have it easy trying to figure out how to navigate life with, at 19 years old with a young child. And they worked their butt off. My dad worked hard every day as an electrician to become, and made sure that me and my brother had everything we needed to succeed in life, despite any statistic that says you come from a high school parent. Like, my parents made sure that we had everything we wanted and did. And then my parents support me to this day. I mean, my parents come to as many basketball games as they can come to. Yeah. They sit in the stands, they ask, they watch my kids play on TV when they're playing on TV. I'm grateful for those two people, because I couldn't be the man I am without them. They pushed me to have good grades in high school. They pushed me to play baseball and do it the right way. They pushed me to, be the man I am. They wouldn't let me quit sports. They made me stick them out no matter how frustrated I got. They did all those things to give me a chance at life. And I can't thank them enough for all the things they've done for me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I see you have a beautiful wife. How important it is to have a beautiful wife?
My wife is an amazing person. Yes, she is unbelievable.
Yes,
she does things for other people more than she does them for herself. She's an amazing teacher. She supports me in what I want to do and how I want to do it. I could not do this job without a supportive spouse, and I don't think anybody can. I think we spend so much time here doing this job and supporting kids, and she knows what I'm trying to do, because she's doing the same thing with her students, and I'm lucky to have her. I don't know why the hell she ever married me in the first place,
yes,
but I'm glad she did, and
yes,
we're doing a great job together.
Yes,
helping kids, and
yes, sir.
I think doing what God put us on earth to do, and I'm grateful for everything she's ever done for me.
Yes, sir. That's a blessing. Mm-hmm. What's something you love about Baker High School so much?
Something I love about it?
Yes, sir.
I think Baker taught me how to love a lot of different people, and how to be, somebody who could understand different cultures and different folks. I think my favorite thing about a public school is there's so many different types of people that go to them. They're not just the same people you would, grow up with and all that stuff. And so I get to experience different cultures and different types of people. I get to see different walks of life. I think I got to see that when I was a student here. Baker was changing in demographics when I went to school here, and it changed the type of person I could be. And it kind of gave me this idea of, what I think life should be like. You can't just walk through life only hanging around a certain type of person. You got to be around multiple types of people and understand everybody's, the way they see life. And I'm grateful that Baker gave that to me at a young age, and I'm grateful that I get to be a part of that as an adult too.
Yes, sir. What's something that keeps a smile on your face?
I think mainly it's just that I love what I'm doing. I love what I get to do every day. I love who I get to do it with. My wife, like I said, being able to wake up next to her and do all these things with her.
Yes, sir.
And then to get to come to this school and do a job that's different daily, with kids that, need guidance, that need people in their life to push them in a different direction. I love doing it. I wake up early every morning, and I don't get mad about coming to work. I love doing it. I know people that have to wake up every morning and drag themselves out of bed to go to work.
Yes,
I want to get up and come here.
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
I love doing that, and I'm very thankful that I get a chance to do it every day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, is there anything that you want to let your students know, your players know, any other coaches know before we end the podcast?
I want everybody to know that, any guy that's coaching, or any girl that's coaching, they're not doing this for a paycheck. We get paid a little bit, not a lot. And we do this because we love the game. I think the game is probably the reason we first got into it. But you can't do it just for the game. You got to do it for the kids. I think God put me here to give whatever I have to teenage boys that want to play basketball.
Yes, sir.
And to try to make them better humans for the future.
Yes, sir.
And I don't have my own child to do that to, so I'm going to do it to every child that comes across my path and give them everything I got.
Yes, sir.
And I want all of them to know, even the kids I coach against, the kids that have left and been mad at me, the kids that have, left here and weren't mad at me, all of them. I want them all to know I love them. I want nothing but the best for them moving forward. I want every child that plays basketball against us and with us, every kid that goes to school, I want y'all to be the most successful people on earth.
Yes, sir.
I want you to lead this country in the right direction. I want you to take it and run with it. And all I'm trying to do is be a small part of any of that happens.
Yes, sir. Well, Coach Armstrong, we appreciate you over here at Alley Talk. We're going to continue to wish you nothing in your school and your players, nothing but blessings.
Yeah.
So through your journey, keep your head up.
Thank you, man.
Keep God first.
Appreciate it.
Coach. Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
y'all.
Yes, sir.